Okay, I will call to order the Transportation Committee meeting of August 17th, 2021. Will we have a roll call vote?
Good morning, my name is Londine. I will do the roll call this morning. Chaplin? Here. Desart? Here. Krajewski?
Here.
Ozog? Here. Tucholsky?
Here.
And Zay.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Since this is Londine's first meeting, I would ask if you're going to make a motion or second, please say your name so she can get used to who we are.
Thank you.
And then the other comment would be we've joined the B Club, so I look forward to our long-range transportation plan. Nice job on that. And moving forward, I think we have no public comment. That's correct. And I would ask to approve the committee meeting of August 3rd, 2021.
Second. Krajewski.
All right, motion is second. Any changes, alterations, or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is 6 procurement requisitions. May I have a motion to approve DTP 34021, a contract to Huff and Huff Inc. for professional environmental screening services upon request of the Division of Transportation, Public Works, and Facilities Management for a contract not to exceed $250,000.
So Chaplin?
Second to start.
I got a motion, a second. Any changes?
I really
Questions?
like it better if it was like Zay and Ozog. It's much smaller and easier to write.
All right.
You
This
two-
meeting's gonna take forever.
All in favor?
Krajewski, she's like, really?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. May I have a motion to approve DTP 34121, a contract to Genuine Parts, DBA Napa Auto Parts, to furnish and deliver automated repair and replacement parts as needed for the Department of Transportation for a contract not to exceed $600,000.
So move, Zay.
Second, Ozog.
Okay, motion second.
There we
Any
go.
questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTP 34221, a contract to Priority Products Inc. to furnish and deliver weatherhead, hydraulic fittings, hoses, and connectors as needed for a contract not to exceed $40,000.
So move, Zay.
Second Chaplin?
Okay, motion is second. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next going to change orders. These, I would ask that we combine change 7A through X, which are all decrease and close except the last one, which is a revised Exhibit C.
Second, Zay.
Okay, motion is second, motion combined. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next, I have a motion to approve 7A through X on the change orders.
So Chaplin?
Second, Zay.
Okay, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it.
Alphabet in there, huh?
Yeah,
You know what, we
okay.
tried, we tried.
Couldn't find anything else.
That's about it, Chris, you know?
Always
exclude the Z's, you
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
tough
yeah.
one.
Sometimes we have, so.
Yeah,
Next, we're gonna go to item 8 on our agenda, which is awarding resolution. Move to approve DTR 39921, awarding resolution to Mead Inc. for the traffic signal street maintenance program for an estimated county cost of $3,221,422.76.
Second to start.
Low bid. Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. On item B, there is a Scrivener's error. It should be section 21, not 19. So with leave of the committee, I would move to amend on its face the Scrivener's error to section 19 to 21.
Second.
All right, thank you. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Okay, and I will move to approve DTR 421, recommendation to approve a contract with SKC Construction for the 2021 pavement/crack sealing program, section 21, CRKSL-07-BM for an estimated county cost of $22,100.
So move, Zay.
Second Chaplin?
Okay, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Item C is duplicate of item B, so that will be pulled. Next, to awarding resolution, I would move, amending resolution, I'm sorry, move to approve DTR 314B20, amendment to a resolution issued to Alliance Contractors, Inc. for the 2020 various bridge repair program to decrease the funding amount of $104,211.02, resulting in a final cost of $1,527,873.52, a decrease of 3.16%.
So move, Zay.
Second Chaplin?
Okay, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is item number 10, which is intergovernmental agreements. Motion to approve DTR 40221, an acceptance of a local technical assistance grant from the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, CMAP, for the development of a corridor land/youth transportation plan along Illinois 56 within the communities of Lombard, Downers Grove, Oak Brook, and unincorporated DuPage County for a cost of $4,800.
So moved, Chaplin.
Second, Ozark.
Okay, a motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTR 40321, an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and Downers Grove Township Road District for the Downers Grove Township 2021 Road Maintenance Program at no county cost.
So moved, Zane.
Second, Chaplin.
All right, motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTR 40421, a local agency agreement between the County of DuPage and Illinois Department of Transportation for central sign system expansion, number 3, various locations for an estimated county cost of $1,500,140.
So moved, Zane.
Second, Chaplin.
I have a motion and a second. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTO 83-21, an ordinance authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and City of Wooddale for land transfers.
So moved, Ozark.
Second, Zane.
A motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is agenda item 11, which is ordinances. Move to approve DT 084-21, which is an ordinance for an additional appropriation for the Downers Grove Township Reimbursement Fund 1500, accounting unit 3572 for an amount of $500,000.
So moved, Chaplin.
Second, Ozark.
Motion is second. Any questions?
I
All-
did have a question.
Go ahead, go, Dawn.
Okay, thank you. There were only a couple of pages on this one in the packet. So I was wondering if is this a consulting fee, a capital improvement fee? What is this money for?
So what happens is the county holds on deposit the township's motor fuel tax. So we let and award construction projects on their behalf. When they don't have enough money, when there's not enough money in the MFT to cover the cost, they have to put money on deposit with us so that we can pay the contractor. So all this is doing is we appropriated, I think $50,000 or $100,000 for FY21. Well, because of the input we received prior to the budget for 21, the actual project is much more. So we're just putting more money. They're going to put it on deposit, and then all we're going to do is spend it toward the contractor.
Gotcha. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions? And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is item 12, which is action items. Move to approve DTP 34321, a contract to Standard Equipment Company for a contract to furnish and deliver Elgin sweeper and Vector catch basin cleaner repair and placement parts as needed for the Department of Transportation for a period of September 16th, 2021 through September 15th, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $119,600, which was sole source.
So moved, Chaplin.
Second, Zane.
I got a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTP 344-21, a contract with Monroe Truck Equipment to furnish and deliver Monroe spreader, plow, repair, and replacement parts for the Department of Transportation for September 21st, 2021 through April 30th, 2023 for a contract not to exceed $60,000.
So moved, Zane.
Second, Ozark.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is item 13, an authorization to have the Department of Transportation send a staff member to attend the 2021 fall meeting with the Illinois Association of County Engineers in Peoria from October 6th to 8th for an
Gloria.
approximate cost of $732.50.
Second, Zane.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is item 14, which is, I'm really excited about this, and I want to thank John and Chris and staff for the great job they did on this. And I look forward to John's presentation on our long-range transportation plan and recommended projects.
Thank you all so much. Thanks, Don. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time to try to make this concise and meaningful. In your packet, there's a copy of the presentation as well as a list of the projects that are going into this long-range transportation program. So, Wendy, next slide, please, if you mind. So, we started off a number of years ago on this, and this is our first bite at the first comprehensive transportation plan that we've done here. It's actually mandated by the state, and it's for counties over 185,000 population. What it's supposed to do is to satisfy the state requirements regarding use of MFT and gas tax funds. And, we've taken that a little bit further. We want this to be a very transparent process, what projects that we're going to be looking at, how we've done them, why we're doing them. And to essentially set up goals and objectives in consultation with the public and with the stakeholders. And you folks are actually the steering committee. It's been set up in the past where Transportation Committee actually acts as our steering committee for this plan. And we're also demonstrating a commitment to maintain, which is important to the state. What are we doing with the money in terms of making sure that all of our infrastructure is safe. And ultimately, we're going to be doing, we'll have a nice website, and we'll be doing some performance tracking over the course of the years to ensure that we're actually being a good shepherd and responsible with the money that we are taking in. Next slide, please. So this is kind of the process that we've gone through. The first year or so of the process involved a lot of the stakeholders, setting up the steering committees, talking with the public, establishing visions and goals. We're presently at item 9. We're here at program recommendations. So where the vision and goals were set by the stakeholders and through consultation with the steering committee. Following that public element, we did a massive effort on technical analysis, which includes essentially pulling all of the asset conditions together, assessing system performance, doing traffic modeling, pulling together a big land use assumptions document for both for the comprehensive road improvement plan and also for the LRTP. That's a major component of how we actually do our traffic modeling, is looking at the forecast land use. And then last time that we met with you folks on the LRTP, we talked about the financial plan. That was just ahead of where we are today. So we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming next steps towards the end of the presentation here. Next slide, please. So over the course of the public, I just want to kind of go back through and inform you where we were a couple of years ago before the pandemic struck. So we had a lot of good public input. We had 4 public outreach meetings. We had an online survey and a crowdsourced map on the public website. We received about 700 comments through the public website. We also had some great feedback leading up to that from Joan's budget survey stuff. There's a lot of stuff that comes in, a lot of rich content that comes in from those budget surveys, telling us, responding to her questions. So a lot of that stuff came in. It was looked over extensively. And some of the things that popped out to us, obviously, before the pandemic was excessive congestion. That was the kind of the top vote getter for problems with the system. But we had a contingent of bike folks who met with us at Downers Grove, and they were advocating for the East Branch DuPage River Trail. They put in a lot of comments, and so that's why the insufficient bike accommodations is up there. But we had a lot of stuff, coming in about poor roadway pavement condition and poor signal timing. This isn't just about DuPage County DOT infrastructure. It also included a lot of comments on state tollway, municipal roadways, and so we took a lot of that and looked at it from the system standpoint, not just from the DuPage County infrastructure standpoint. We also asked the public and stakeholders, what would you put your money towards, if you had unlimited budget? And most of them said, by and large, it's, state of good repair. We want to make sure our roads are well maintained. We actually have a good atmosphere or climate for business and for commuting in DuPage County. And then to a lesser degree, system enhancement. So system enhancement was defined, at least in their mind, as improving congestion, improving intersections where most of the delay occurs in DuPage. To a lesser degree, we heard, system expansion and signal timing and performance, but system enhancement was a major component. So next slide, Wendy. So based on the public and stakeholder input, DOT formed 5 specific goal areas. We call them safety, mobility, efficient operations, economic vitality and access to jobs, sustainability and resilience. And, you know, we view safety as being kind of our state of good repair bucket. Everybody was complaining about, you know, we need to make sure that we're safe and we also have a good system. Mobility choice, we heard from a lot of different people across the spectrum. We heard from bikers, aging and elderly people up in the Addison Township meetings, the disabled community, talking about, you know, connectivity of sidewalks and trail systems and ADA accessibility. And as a consequence, you know, as you've heard, we've just recently completed our ADA transition plan. We now have a new mobility plan ongoing. We have a trails plan ongoing. So we're taking what we've heard from this and kind of activating that through the rest of our program. Next, Wendy. So last time we met with you, we talked a little about the finances, revenues. We talked about the risks and the threats to the gas tax revenues. And, you know, as you can see here, about 87% of what we'll be taking in over the 20 years is tied to the local gas tax and MFT revenue streams. It's important to recognize our obligations first. And so, as we talked about our operating expenses, capital maintenance and contractual kind of come off the top first from all the revenue that we receive. Whatever's left over is what we call our constrained capital program amount, which is about $800 million. Next slide. So what we'll go into that $800 million constrained amount. We have a set of program projects. That's our first 5 years of programs. Those are those known projects, ones that we actually have committed money to, are in some semblance of either design or construction on. And then after 25, from 26 to 40, we have a set of planned projects. And those planned projects address parts of the system that obviously the program group does not. So how do we decide on how those projects were selected? We went through a fairly extensive screening process, including looking at environmental factors, the kind of practicability of doing those projects, the costs, you know, what some of the safety elements were of the projects, economic development corridors, things of that nature, and came up with a list of roughly about $615 million for the projects that were selected as part of the planned portion of the program. Next slide, please. So we segmented those into 7 types. Mobility, those are the bike path, sidewalk, trail, and ADA projects. State of good repair, which generally includes bridge and highway reconstruction and repair projects. We combine that with this capital maintenance line, which is mostly made up of resurfacing projects, basically $10 million per year over 20 years. System enhancements, which are the intersection and corridor work, and system expansion, which are mostly strictly the ad lane projects that we'll talk about a bit. Turning to the project maps, Wendy, next slide, please. In your packets, you actually have a north side and a south side. Set of slides was direct your attention to a couple of the projects. There are 41 programmed projects and 66 planned projects that are fully constrained in this plan. Program project costs are based on engineers' estimates or what we have left to spend on the projects that are currently underway. Planned project costs are estimated based on the type, length, right-of-way, drainage needs, signal and utility costs, and engineering costs. So all of that's included within project cost estimations. So a couple of the projects that we want to look at is state of good repair projects. We have two of them. York Road up around the airport, the Fabian Parkway. Those are near-term projects. They're in the program list. Those are reconstruction projects. In the Fabian case, it's reconstruct and widen. We also have a St. Charles Road plan reconstruction project. So that will include reconstruction of the pavement plus also some drainage work. And then also Wooddale Road, which is south of Irving Park and north of Lake Street. So those are reconstruct in kind, but very expensive projects to do. Ones that were not built to current highway standards. And cost us quite a bit of money in the amount of resurfacing that we have to do in a more frequent rate. Mobility projects include Stearns Road Bike Trail up here. We had a lot of advocates talking about the Stearns Road Bike Trail. That was on the request list. Does make some sense. Also, the East Branch DuPage Regional Trail, this big Great Western Trail down to Route 38, and then south of 38 down to Route 56. We have a lot of other system enhancement projects, including quite a few on County Farm Road, for example. We have projects at County Farm and Illinois 390 extension ramps here north of Stearns Road. Stearns Road intersection, Army Trail Road intersection, St. Charles Road intersection, Geneva Road intersection. And that's, there's quite a bit of work involved with those. On the south side, Wendy, next slide. We have two very large projects that are included within the plan. Those our 75th Street, basically from Route 59 over to James Avenue in Woodridge. That's an add lane project from 4 to 6 lanes, and Eola Road from Ferry down to New York Street, also a 4 to 6. That includes a bridge, a fairly significant bridge project on that project. Mobility projects include Ferry Road bike path repair, bridge retrofits for Mill Street, and also for Myers Road up here near I-88. And many system enhancement projects like the Nickerville Road section south of I-88 down to Ogden, which is in the program list. So it's kind of a shortcut through the list, and we're happy to talk with you all about the rest of the projects on the list at your convenience. We're here to answer questions about what's included with those things. So next slide, Wendy. So to summarize, this $1.6 billion program is really unprecedented for DOT. It represents about a $40 million annual project budget. It will allow the county to rely a little bit less on federal funds and be able to fund larger projects and reconstruct old highway sections. So it's a very responsible project list, I think, and really meant to respect what the stakeholders and the public have been asking for as much as we possibly can. Many of the projects are multifaceted. One of the things that we have to emphasize with you guys is that they include a lot of different elements. There's drainage, bridges, utility relocations, traffic signals, new geometrics and intersections, safety projects, ADA, and sidewalk projects, path projects. So they're really becoming much more complex, and as a result of the complexity, there's more expense to them. So when we do projects, we have to really talk about utility relocations. We have to talk about use of new drainage techniques, and especially as the climate changes, and we talk about resilience. Have to provide more storage, sort of storage with Terra Hun and stormwater on those projects a lot. So turning to next steps, Wendy. We're presenting this to you with to get your feedback and your comments, and ask you for approval to move this back into the public forum again. So we're going to be talking about doing a virtual online public meeting and asking for your support to do that, bring that back to the public and have them comment and review this, submit comments. We would add those back to the draft long-range transportation plan, bring this back to the committee again for review and acceptance, and hopefully move that on in the next stage to the county board for adoption approval. And that's kind of where we are today, but we're really relying on you folks to be those screeners and ask the important questions about the projects that are in the list. We're happy to engage you, over the next month or two.
Before we open up the questions, I just want to say thank you. We had an extensive presentation, and John, I, and Chris met with Chairman Cronin for several hours and went over this, and your preparation is just phenomenal. You do a great job, and I just want to say thank you for a great job you do. And now I will open it up for questions. Mary, Vice Chairman, do you want to start with the questions?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm interested in a real specific issue. What is exactly planned from Gary to Schmalley Road on St. Charles? Are sidewalks included in that?
I believe that's in our plan list. Right now, we don't know the exact extent of everything that's in there, but I believe that there will be some pedestrian accommodations in there. We know that there are gaps in the system there. I'm not quite sure how to address that other than to say, I believe it's going to be a full reconstruction, and there will be, be other elements to it that will be ADA and sidewalk.
But it's planned at this point,
It's not programmed.
Not programmed. Because I was driving there yesterday and I was thinking about this, because there's an apartment complex toward Gary, but then on Schmalley Road, there's quite a bit of, there's Aldi, et cetera. So I often see pedestrians there, and I don't think there's one bit of sidewalk on either side.
Well,
So
we've
that
been
would
pretty
be-
responsive in that corridor. So as you might recall, we did some work recently at St. Charles and President Street. So,
Right.
So that's, there are those types of accommodations. There's going to be some transition in that area from some of the gravel side path to probably more paved either sidewalk or bike path
Right.
in that area, just to make it a better system to
If there was
traverse.
even a bike path type shoulder, that would be an improvement. But I know I'm getting very specific and this is very broad, but I was thinking about that yesterday. So thank you.
Dawn, did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, John, for a very well done, detailed presentation. I appreciate it. I had two thoughts. One is, once you open it up to the public and show them, the projects that are on your radar right now, that the public is going to come up with a million other personal preference projects for you. How do you kind of weed those out?
So, and that happened a lot in the public element of those. And we did include some of those, but some of the issues come down to practicability, and that really means, can we do it? Should we do it? And that really, relies on our engineering staff and our consultants to tell us what the costs are for the benefits that the suggestion accrues. So, what my suggestion has always been has been to listen to the suggestions and evaluate them. And as this is a dynamic document, as we progress down through the plan, we will be making changes to the plan list. Some of these programs in 2036 to 2040 timeframe, we're not sure, if those will ultimately need it, but we know that there are, those are things that we have identified as with safety concerns or poor accommodations or connectivity or congestion or whatever, that deserve treatment at some point. We will be moving projects in and out of that list as time goes on.
Here's
If I could
the
just-
challenge that I've talked to Chris about before is, go ahead, you wanted to.
That was Christmas, thank you.
I was just gonna add to what John said. So a lot of what we have in this program, our hope is it doesn't come to a surprise to many of you, as you've heard from your constituents over the years, and we're now in a position, both on revenue and the ability to plan into the future, doing it. The issue may be not only just new projects, but how can you do that one quicker? And so there's a lot of factors that come into that. We also have items that are blanket things. Our annual resurfacing program, $10 million. We haven't identified what roadways those are yet. You can't 20 years, 10 years from now.
Right.
But as part of those, it's not uncommon for us to go that extra mile and say, okay, we have a need here, a sidewalk gap or something. And so some of these projects, they're placeholders, but they have the ability to grow and add things to them that normally wouldn't fit into a long-range plan per se. So I just wanted to
Yeah, no, I
add
appreciate
to what
that.
Bill.
But opening this up to the public is gonna have people with those boutique requests, like that woman I talked to about who wanted a stoplight
Mhm.
in that one location.
Yep.
My other thought is that how do we start capturing, speaking about funding all of this, the electronic vehicles that aren't paying a gas tax?
Paying enough.
Right. So our hope is right now, they make up a very small percentage of the overall fleet of vehicles. And the common thought is in the region is that whatever happens with our fleets in terms of conversions, there would be an equivalent replacement of revenue. So if everything went from gas today to electric tomorrow, there would need to be legislation to recognize they're still on the road, they're still contributing to congestion and safety and other things. And all we have to do now is say, how do we fund the transportation system and network based on electric vehicles and not a gas tax? And so, our expectation is that's what would happen. That's what would transform over a period of time as they penetrate the market more and more and more.
Well, there are
It's
registrations.
either gonna be a flat tax or it's gonna be pay-as-you-go, which is that Oregon plan, which I think are the two options. Right?
Kind of a VMT, vehicle miles traveled.
So
And
you'll
one
be
more
paying a
question.
tax versus getting a credit, which you get now when you buy one of those
Well, you're
cars.
not-
But they are indeed contributing to.
All right.
One more
Use the
question
road.
before I give up the floor, and
I'm
that's,
sorry.
just very personally, that Ferry Road construction that you had, is that gonna be road construction or is that just a bike path?
The
between
bike
Yola
path
and-
is a repair project.
On the road?
No, in the right of way, the bike path is already there, but needs to be repaired.
Oh, all right, thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Brian?
Yeah, just real quick on the program projects, the number 5 63rd Springside, this traffic signal, which was done like 7 months ago, is that done or is that something else you're doing after we already did it?
No, it's done, and the reason why it's there is because we still owed money on the project. So this program is actually capturing those projects that are also almost complete.
Well, how do we owe money on something that's done several months ago?
Well, a lot of times our bills don't.
Retention, retainage and things like
Yeah.
that. So remember, this is, at some point we had to say the plan has got to begin and end at some point. And so we said, okay, as we started looking at 2020, we're working on this, looking at projects that was lead awarded. And so the thought is at some point we can't keep taking off. 31st Street's under construction, but it's still on here. 75th Street is under
Well, it's one thing
construction.
that's on this one's going to complete for
Yeah,
months,
it's like-
so we still owe money?
There's nominal retention to pay out.
So your
Yeah.
start date is
I
20.
didn't want to ignore it. I mean, because
I think it's smart to keep
when
it
we
on.
started putting that together, Brian, we.
All right, well, no, I didn't, I thought maybe you were going to do something, we just did it, I thought we were going to do something more to it.
We wait at least a year, Brian, before we redo it. No, anything that had active open IOUs, if you will, they're on the list.
And then the second thing is, I noticed in a lot of these comments and everything, that signalization is a big issue, or at least an issue that's raised. And I seem to have a lot of issues with signalizations down by us, and I don't know how often we look at that, and it just seems in like some of these off-peak hours where you have, say, in front of shopping centers, that during the time they're open, there's a lot of, traffic coming out of there, but when it's 11 o'clock, 2 in the morning, and the thing is completely empty, but the light's still, green coming out of there for 15, 20 seconds. It just seems like the signalizations, I have a lot of those, the same issues down by District 3.
Yeah, we've got.
I don't know how often you guys look at them and time them, but it seems like there's.
Got about 335 signals that we're maintaining and parts of systems, and there's an annual contract, to go back through and evaluate timing and sequencing. Bill Edson and his team do a fantastic job of getting out there and actually looking at stuff and making corrections. There are going to be times when
The business
things
seems
get out
like
of
it's
sync.
later in the evenings when the traffic's not there anymore, but they still seem to be on the same timer.
To answer your question, Brian, Bill, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Bill, if you could answer, Member Krajewski's question on the 2 a.m, you're leaving Mariano's or you're on a side street and it's green for the side on.
I'll use 63rd as an example, west of Belmont, where there's a target there, the thing between 11 and 2 in the morning, it'll be green for 20 seconds coming out of there. There's something there.
Yeah. We run different patterns during different times of day, and most of our traffic signals stop running a kind of a scheduled pattern around 9 or 10 p.m. We definitely get notified by the public if it is misbehaving like you're talking about. We get phone calls from folks, and our contractor, we just approved today, you guys approved the contract for Mead. They go out and they troubleshoot. It's usually a detection issue or a stuck pedestrian button that would cause that sort of thing. But if there's specific locations, you're more than welcome to pass them along to us or encourage your residents.
I know Brian's stuck on 63rd waiting for Target.
Yeah.
The other thing, Bill, and maybe you can answer this, the signal is smart enough to say, wait a second, it's been several minutes and there's been no activity on the side, so let's make sure nothing is broke. So it may give it a phase just to clear it. If there is something, then you get someone that gets a little anxious and they make a decision that is maybe not a good decision to enter the traffic.
Thanks so much. I just had a few questions. I was just wondering, in your 25 million for traffic signal coordination or your 70 million for your signal maintenance, are you guys going to incorporate that yellow flashing light in more areas, do you think, or are you still in the trials of that, or how's that going?
Right. So we have that safety grant for District 3, but it's really for 63rd Street in the Darien Westmont area. And so the thought was, let's move forward with that, with the implementation, but also the public engagement side of it, because it is unique and different to the region, specifically to DuPage. And so let's roll that out. Let's confirm that we can educate the motoring public on it.
Okay.
Its effectiveness has already been proven in Kane County on the Randall Road from a safety and operations perspective. So it is something that the thought is, let's implement it first. It does compete very favorably, and we get safety funds for those. And so the intent, the thought is, over time in the right corridor, it should be a corridor treatment, not a specific intersection, because you should have two different responses to a signal depending if it's low flashing or not. So the thought is we corridor based on the expectation, given the success in Kane, that would be something we expand.
Okay, great. And then your bridges, the 14 bridge project. So do we have, and I don't know if we work with this with municipalities, but what about any kind of overpass or underpasses? Have those been discussed or thought about in the transportation plan?
Well, those are, and
I know they're huge and they cost a lot of money.
well, what we're really not able to show in the maps and everything is all the maintenance work and all the contractual work that we do annually for bridge inspections.
Yes.
So those are included within the plan by reference, through the maintenance and contractual lines. And a number of the projects are included within some of the highway projects. So on Fabian Parkway, for example, there are bridge that's going to be repaired. So that's one of the 14 that's there. So one of the projects that we have are specific projects like Gurnby Trail and West Branch, DuPage, River Mornville Road, East Branch, DuPage River. Those we've looked at, and we've been kind of calculating that deterioration and watching that through the inspections, when we're going to have to do something with the bridges. So that's how we're proceeding.
If I can add to that, Member Chaplain. So within DuPage County, you might have heard of the CREATE program, which is in the region, right? So under the CREATE program in DuPage County, there are 3 CREATE projects that were identified over a decade ago. All 3 have been built because of DuPage County. and our leadership. So Belmont grade separation, the county farm out west in District 6 over the UP. And then we had 19 at Irving Park. So all three of those are done. Those are new grade separations to address the conflict between roadways and freight and leader trains. With regard to pedestrian, I think you're looking at new things. And so those do come up every now and again. We do look at our corridors specifically on the trail system, Great Western and Great Bend, where it makes sense to construct a grade separation without completely impacting the surrounding community in terms of loss of access because of it. So those do come up. There's been discussions of a Create 2. We provided input to the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for planning. They've identified one or two that they're going to undertake, kind of looking at a high level to see what makes sense in DuPage in some of the more urban areas. But we're always mindful of that. But you are right, they're $30 million projects.
Yes, I know they're huge projects.
Too much credit for Belmont.
Yes,
What?
Brian.
Don't give the.
Oh, Brian, we took a transfer of jurisdiction of the road so we could secure ICC funds.
Yeah, whose idea was that?
Who was mayor then?
I came to that for the county and actually we could have had it built earlier, but Schillerson wouldn't sign the document. Okay.
Well, I'm glad I brought that up.
I can say,
We could have had that thing done 5 years earlier, 10 years ago.
No, now you go right through there.
Oh,
John,
thank you.
John,
Any other questions?
are you ever on our website? Is that what you were saying earlier? Did you be on our website or some version of it?
Once we get this through the public hearing process, we will get it on the website and we'll also have a lot of information out there for the public to make sure that.
All right, and we still have grant money that is in addition to this, correct? There's no grant.
We're done with the grant, we're done with the grant funding on them. It's all in our dollars.
Yeah.
I assume that no one has any objection to giving concurrence or direction for John to move forward to have a virtual public hearing meeting regarding our long range transportation plan.
I didn't have any questions, but that's all right.
All right,
I'll
good.
call-
Move forward,
I'll
good
call
job.
Very nice.
Great
Yeah,
job.
I'll-
All
I'll-
right, nice presentation. So a ton of work you put in by you guys on this, so thank you.
Just want to add in your packet, there's a bigger map of what was shown on the PowerPoint with a listing of each project. Okay, it's a number coded, it's an ID, so there's 175 total projects listed between the north and south maps. And Paula, just so after the meeting, we will send everything out to all county board members from Chairman Pachalski advising here what was presented today. And then we'll keep you informed of the timing of any public meeting when that is scheduled. Great.
Thanks, John.
Thank you,
All right,
John.
okay, next is our item 15, any report from our state attorney?
Nothing, we got another hour.
We have no old business, no new business, so without objection, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.